Oh.
I'm gonna stop my camera though. You can just hear me. I just don't want to look at myself playing my flute.
All right, thank you, Gene. I think we're gonna get started here. People will still be trickling in, but we will start this before people get tired. Welcome everyone to Sacred Breath. Unfortunately, we have to do this over Zoom, but I'm glad you guys are all here. I know I see some familiar names in here, and I'm excited that you guys could be here. Firstly, my name is Owen. I'm a student at the University of Washington studying American Indian Studies with a focus of Indigenous education and politics. And I'd like to welcome you to where I am, actually in the heart of Tlingit territory in Southeast Alaska. However, in Seattle and on university lands, we like to recognize the Duwamish, Suquamish, Tulalip, and muckleshoot. It's our roles as guests of those lands to understand our roles and responsibilities as we conduct their protocols on their lands. So please do your part and research whose land you're watching this Zoom Sacred Breath on. And I'd like to introduce the Sacred Breath committee. So Kai Wise, I don't think is in here, but she's the amazing advisor for the American Indian Studies Department and helps me out a lot. We have Don Hardison-Stevens, and we have Laura DeVos, Dana Arviso, Rae Paris, and Lydia Berlin. So if you guys want to say hi or just their cameras are on. Okay, they're waving. So, and of course, this wouldn't be able to happen without our sponsors. And we thank them. That's the University of Washington American Indian Studies Department, the UW Seed Fund, Squaxin Island Tribe, and many more. So thank you. And lastly, before we get into this program, I would just like to share some Zoom etiquette. Please keep your camera off and microphone muted if you're not speaking. Up in the right-hand corner, there's a speaker view, which will select this person that's talking, and it will be a full screen. And lastly, on the bottom, where a chat, you can ask questions, and we could get to them later. And then, actually, last thing, sorry. This will be recorded, and yeah. So first, I'd like to introduce Sara Marie Ortiz. She's an Acoma Pueblo poet, a performing artist, a filmmaker, and Indigenous peoples activist. She earned her Bachelor's of Fine Arts at the Institute of American Indian Arts and her Master's of Fine Arts at the Antioch University of Los Angeles. Her poems have been published in journals such as The Plowshares, The Kenyan Review, New Poets of American West, and an anthology, Sing, Indigenous Poetry of the Americas. She's an author of a collection of poems, Red Milk. Ortiz has received the Truman Capote Literary Fellowship, a Brigham Young Morning Star Creative Writing Award, and American Indian Graduate Center Fellowship. The daughter of poet Simon J. Ortiz, she's currently working on a documentary about her father's life and legacy. She works as an education administrator in Burien, Washington. Let's all welcome Sara.
Oh.
ʔičǝxʷ, hope everybody, haʔڵ. I am so honored to be a part of this series, though the world has shifted on its axis. I've known about the Sacred Breath series for a long time, and I'm just so impressed by all of the good work that goes on at UW. UW represent all of our Indigenous scholars in Indian Studies, College of Education, and far beyond. Thank you so much to Don, Hardison-Stevens, Dana, Rae, Kai, Laura, all of you for making this possible. I want to share just a few poems with you tonight. I also want to thank Jean, because Jean's gonna kill it, I know it. I am just a humble sayer of words, and I wish I was a storyteller. I was just telling my partner this last night. I don't really feel like that designation fits me, but I honor our storytellers. I honor the culture keepers, the memory keepers of this land, our ʔiqa̔sh̑ relatives, those ancestral Duwamish that are here on this land. That's where I'm speaking from today, just a little bit south of Seattle and Burien, beautiful Three Tree Point. But I think about that a lot, the fact that the stories, the songs are rising up from this land, from the water, teaching us everything that we need to know about being alive, about being human. And we've never needed our songs and our stories and our storytellers more than we do in this moment. I wanted to share with you a few of my favorite quarantine activities before I get started also. One is not brushing my hair. It's one of my favorite. favorite quarantine activities. I also just made some delicious stuffed squash blossoms, not the kind you wear. Shout out to my Dene family out there, but they're so good. If you haven't tried squash blossoms, you got to do that. Losing really expensive jewelry. It's somewhere here, I know it is. I don't know what happened there. And also delicately carrying outside more than 100 what are they called? They're like big mosquitoes, crane flies, there's the word. Every day, it's like a ritual, just gently carrying them out into the yard. This piece that I'm gonna start with is actually an incantatory thing, an invocation of sorts. I start with it almost every reading that I ever do. I wrote it when I was just a baby writer at the Institute of American Indian Arts. I can't say enough about my IA family too. If I was not part of the IA legacy, I don't think I'd be alive. The Institute of American Indian Arts saved my life. And if I have any of my fellow alums, my IA family on, shout out to you. Thank you so much for joining. And to my Acoma family. I'm from Acoma Pueblo, as was mentioned, and it's hard. It's hard not being able to go home. It's hard being away, but I hope if any of you are on right now, that you know that this is for you and from you. Ceremony. Way ya hey ya hey ya, way ya hey ya hey, way ya hey ya hey ya, way ya hey ya hey. Morning has come and the brown children of the earth open their eyes to greet her. Morning has come and the brown children of the earth open their arms to embrace her. Morning has come and the brown children of the earth open their mouths to sing for her. Morning has come and the brown children of the earth take knives to their skin to bleed for her. Morning has come and the brown children of the earth take shovels to their eyes and plant seeds for her. Morning has come, and the brown children of the earth cover their heads with red paint and build fires with the bodies of their brothers, for the night will soon be here. Way ya hey, ya hey ya. Way ya hey, ya hey. Way ya hey, ya hey ya. Way ya hey, ya hey. I'm going to read next a piece that was published in the Tusculum Review. I don't know if any of you are familiar with this publication, but it's a wonderful collection. Yeah, just a big hi and hello and thank you to them. This piece is untitled. What is visible is vast in its betrayal of what is. The dead and long-strung silence which tells us all we need to know. The muse of DeVos, portals as atlas of body, who then? Who let the voices of birds in? Trimmed wick of memory, tick-tock and tremble forward of language, every pause a bird, every spent breath, long born of damp earth, bone, dulled, light and sea change, unanointed flight. ʔičǝxʷ, profanity. Fear of God and of their own nature was what became them, was what made beasts of them all. Throttle the brim, frayed hem and dog-eared tome, that desert glyph of memory I'd forgotten how to say before I'd even the call to sing it, sing you back somehow. Winter came and went. Strangely, the light, it was the light, and the unending music of days that turned the God food into lesser poisons, a lesser light, and the children into wolves. Old, sacred, way hey, hallelujah, sever, sin, sow, and sing you back together, never again, until the next time, songs. Earth, stone, hewn apart, to cut, to rip, to sew, and burn you back together again, somehow. The next piece I'm going to read is actually an homage. It's not my piece. I'm going to share another piece that's not by myself, but I love this piece so much. And shout out to Therese Myatt. I was invited to a secret, super top secret group, a Native writers group that I got a chance to read this on, and I just love it so much because I think it's needed in this time. But Therese and Tommy Orange came to Seattle, and they were brought in by Seattle Arts and Lectures, and the first exposure that I had was this little sort of insert, little teaser of They're There. If you don't know about They're There and you haven't read Tommy Orange's writing, please do, please do. And if you ever see this, Tommy, you're brilliant, ever brilliant, a luminary, absolutely. And so I hope you like this reading. Hard fast. Getting us to cities was supposed to be the final necessary step in our assimilation, absorption, erasure, the completion of a 500-year-old genocidal campaign. But the city made us new, and we made it ours. We didn't get lost amid the sprawl of tall buildings, the stream of anonymous masses, the ceaseless din of traffic. We found one another, started up Indian centers, brought out our families and powwows, our dances, our songs, our beadwork. We bought and rented homes, slept on the streets, under freeways. We went to school, joined the armed forces, populated Indian bars and Fruitvale, in Oakland and in a mission in San Francisco. We lived in boxcar villages in Richmond. We made art and we made babies, and we made way for our people to go back and forth between reservation and city. We did not move to cities to die. The sidewalks and streets, the concrete, absorbed our heaviness. The glass, metal, rubber, and wires, the speed, the hurtling masses, the city took us in. We were not urban Indians then. This was part of the Indian Relocation Act, which was part of the Indian Termination Policy, which was and is exactly what it sounds like. Make them look and act like us, become us, and so disappear. But it wasn't just like that. Plenty of us came by choice, to start over, to make money, or for a new experience. Some of us came to cities to escape the reservation. We stayed after fighting in the Second World War, after Vietnam too. We stayed because the city sounds like a war, and you can't leave a war once you've been. You can only keep it at bay, which is easier when you can see and hear it near you. That fast metal, that constant firing around you, cars up and down the streets and freeways like bullets. The quiet of the reservation, the sight of the highway towns, rural communities, that kind of silence just makes the sound of your brain on fire that much more pronounced. Plenty of us are urban now, if not because we live in cities, then because we live on the internet. Inside the high rise of multiple browser windows. They used to call us sidewalk Indians, called us cityfied, superficial, inauthentic, cultureless refugees, apples. An apple is red on the outside and white on the inside. But what we are is what our ancestors did, how they survived. We are the memories we don't remember, which live in us, which we feel, which make us sing and dance and pray the way we do. Feelings from memories that flare and bloom unexpectedly in our lives, like blood through a blanket from a wound made by a bullet fired by a man shooting us in the back for our hair, for our heads, for a bounty, or just to get rid of us. When they first came for us with their bullets, we didn't stop moving, even though the bullets moved twice as fast as the sound of our screams, and even when their heat and speed broke our skin, shattered our bones, skulls, pierced our hearts, we kept on. Even when we saw the bullets send our bodies flailing through the air like flags, like the many flags and buildings that went up in place of everything we knew this land to be before. The bullets were premonitions, ghosts from dreams of a hard, fast future. The bullets moved on after moving through us, became the promise of what was to come, the speed and the killing, the hard, fast lines of borders and buildings. They took everything and ground it down to dust as fine as gunpowder. They fired their guns into the air in victory, and the strays flew out into the nothingness of histories written wrong and meant to be forgotten. Stray bullets and consequences are landing on our unsuspecting bodies, even now. If anybody from this hyper-local, beautiful community here in South King County, Burien, all across Highline. If you're not familiar with Highline, we're White Center, Burien, SeaTac, Normandy Park, Boulevard Park, and it's a very special place to live and work. I have been allowed to do the sacred work of my life, and that is serving our Native children and youth. Thank you to the families of those children and youth for letting me care for them, for letting me share the little bit that I know. I do my best, and I am amazed every day that I get to do that sacred work. Please learn about our program. If you don't know about our Highline Native Education program, you can find us on Facebook, Highline Native Education. It's a very special program that has been loved by many. I'm going to share a couple short pieces by me in this collection, the Yellow Medicine Review. If you don't know about YMR, please find out about it. It's beautiful. This first piece, actually, for the sake of time, I think I'm actually going to read one piece from Yellow Medicine Review, and it's just called 18.5. Gopani, 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 at sunset. ʔičǝxw. She is covered in blood. Shamokanet dra the yani. At first light. ʔičǝxw. ʔičǝxw. She is healing. She is healing. She is healing. And that piece, you hear words written in my Carrie's language and Acoma. And I encourage all you poets out there and writers across genres to write in your tribal languages. If you even know a few words, or you have those connections to those language resources, elders, language programs, please, please, please take advantage of that. I am just learning. I've been hearing the language spoken my whole life, but I know that I have a lot of learning to do. A lot of the learning that I do now is actually with an online program that the Carrie's Language Project put up. If we have any students, UW students, and anybody in K-12, yes, please write all the time. Just write. It's power, it's medicine, and if you can write, you can do anything. Thank you. Yeah, big shout out to UW students too. You guys make everything awesome. This last piece I'm going to share is by my father, Simon J. Ortiz, and it's from his collection Out There Somewhere. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you, everybody who's with us right now. Thank you to the organizers of Sacred Breath. A gift to give and receive, a tribute for the children. April 1994, Charlotte, North Carolina. Let your hands fall open. Let light fall upon your palms. Hold the light in your hands. You are holding light in the palms of your hands. This morning I look in the flower pot, hanging from the back porch support beam. The buds of the plants are just now coming into blossom. The season's white petals with reddish pink stems. Days ago when I returned to Pembroke, I noticed a bird fly away from the pot. And opening the porch door this morning, I saw it again. So standing on my toes, holding for balance to the wooden porch railing, I looked for what I thought was there. And there it was, a sparrow's nest, which could easily fit into the palm of my hand. Amidst the stems of a spring plant, there it was, a delicate web of tiny sticks, thin dry leaves and grass and downy feathers. And there they were, 5 delicate eggs, smaller than the tips of my little fingers. There they were, off-white shells speckled with blue. There they were. Only looking on then and feeling a wonder and an awe, I knew I must let them be. The fragile and delicate life they were, within this April's light, we are sheltered and joined. Balancing on my toes, holding to the porch railing, I could only be filled with my wonder and my awe. There is a delicate and fragile world all around us. Even now, even as this morning is aglow with spring light on new wheat and sorghum fields, tall, slender trees, and nearby Lumbee homes, even now, even as I am filled with a wonder and an awe, it is a delicate and fragile world we do not often see, but there it is, and there we are. Like the sparrow's nest and the sparrow's eggs in the flower pot out back, a delicate and fragile balance of life and ever-continuing life. Hold your hand open. It is the light you hold. Hold your heart open. It is the world you hold. If I were to reach into the flower pot, I could easily lift away the sparrow's nest and eggs, since they would fit into my hand, because the nest and eggs are that small, that accessible. They're that easy to disturb. For a moment then, only a fleeting moment, I would know the tiny quiver of the sparrow's life. I would know. And I would know I was to have let it be. Hold out your hand then, and into it let the light fall. Accept this simple gift. And then into the palm of another's hand, let this light, this same light fall. And know it is the same light the sparrow and its care and love gives and receives. And know it is the same light human parents and their care and love give and receive. And know it is the same light human children and their care and love give and receive. Feel the light given and feel the light received. Feel the light received and feel the light given. This is the gift. This is the gift. It is yours to receive and give. It is ours to give and receive. Thank you, everybody. So glad you're with us.
Thank you so much, Sarah. That was amazing. I had a chance to, visit Acoma, and it's beautiful. My grandmother's from Laguna, so we went over there many times.
Awesome. You're a
And
cousin then. I love it.
yeah, so my hands go up to you, and it was so
Thank
beautiful,
you.
and everything you're doing. Next, I want to invite another featured guest, Jean Tagaban. Jean is Cherokee, Tlingit, and Filipino. Over the last 30 years, Jean has worked nationally and internationally, creating a world in which we want to belong in. Jean's passion is mentoring, speaking, performing, facilitation, and healing. Jean is a board member and trainer with the Native Wellness Institute, a trainer for NADSVAD, facilitating Compass, Choose Respect, a male engagement and mentorship program to end domestic violence, sexual assault, hurt, and harm. Jean has also been featured at storytelling festivals nationally and internationally, and is a specialty instructor and an honorary uncle with the Wilderness Awareness School. Jean also performs with ʔičǝxw, a native funk band based out of Seattle. Jean is always open to sharing stories, spirit, and inspiration with people of all ages. In the world of one participant, Jean has the ʔiability to make the audience feel safe while holding our hearts in his hands. So everybody, let's put our hands up and welcome Jean.
Oh, ʔičǝxw. We've got this virtual smudge going and smudging everybody there, and I just want to give my hands up to Sarah. Sarah, you are a storyteller. Oh, I had to light the sage because not only that, it touched me really emotionally. Your words, powerful, powerful words. I said, ʔičǝxw. Thank you for your words. And so as I get going here, I'm going to sing a song. And as I sing this song, I'm just going to ask you to think about the land of your ancestors, where you came from. You see, we've been dreamt into existence. Those old ones dreamt us into existence, and here we are. Here we are. And I really love that. I really love that feeling, and I really love that connection. And so I sing this song, just think of those ancestors. The land, the trees, the waters. You see, the land, the trees, the waters, and the animals are our ancestors as well. We learn from them. They taught us. They taught us. They still are. In this time. What are they teaching us now? I wonder. I wonder. And if you don't know where you come from, you see, because many of our peoples, we come from a place, the stolen generations. The stolen generations. And maybe we're hearing the whispers in our dreams, seeing the images, the pictures of the land. And if you don't know where you come from, think of the sunset or sunrise. Imagine the sound of the gentle waves lapping onto the shores. Or when the breeze gently moves through the trees, imagine hearing that sound. Or the call of the eagle or the raven. Or that dawn chorus in the morning when the birds all wake and they start singing right away. That dawn chorus. You see, wherever you're at, your ancestors, they listened to those sounds, they listened to that music, and that will never change. So think about those things. And take yourself there, into our mind, our imagination, our spirit, as I sing this song. Quinault. So my name is Gene Tagaban. Well, my Tlingit name is ʔičǝxʷ. My introduction, ʔičǝxw yahaktu asok, dak dentana kalkita kalktu kandu ayhuitsiti, wishkitanyari achat, ishikti hini du asok. Tlingit wewe ya, slagi Filipino achat, Quinault. Ho 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 ho. So my name is Gene Tagaban. My Tlingit name is ʔičǝxw. I'm of the Duck Danton Raven Freshwater Socket clan from Hoonah, Alaska. I'm the child of a Wishkatan Eagle Shark clan from Juan in Juneau, Alaska. I'm Cherokee, Tlingit, and Filipino. I tell people I'm a Filipino. And so I like to eat my salmon with rice and cornbread. But that's a little bit of who I am. And it's sacred breaths. Yes, thank you. It's an honor to come here and to share some stories and be with you. Okay, all right, now I'm talking to my dog right now because my dog heard my drum and I'm upstairs, and so as soon as my dog heard my drum, she came running up here and now she wants to jump in my lap, and I'm just saying, you can't jump in my lap right now, okay? You gotta lay down. You gotta lay down. All right, go over here. All right, I gotta move things around. Holy. Hang on. You can lay down next to me. Sit down. There we go. So our life is a story, and so I just want to share a few stories with you, and just maybe they're just experiences. And during this time, I ask you, what is it that you do for yourself? You see, there's little whispers in your mind. You know, we're all stories. Our life is a story. We're experiencing a story right now. And oftentimes, when I'm looking for this experience, you know, I'm looking for that healing, that time to connect. Oftentimes, I'll go down to the water. I'll go to the water. You know, amongst the Plains people, they have the sweat lodge. Many tribes, they have the sweat lodge. But amongst the Northwest Coast people, amongst our Tlingit people, it's all about the water. And where we would go in and submerge into the water. And oftentimes I've gone in and I've built a fire and I offered the food and offer prayers to the water, you know, and to the ancestors. And then I'll slowly take some cedar branches, cedar boughs, and I'll slowly start walking into the water, slowly. That cold, cold water. Right there on the beach. It could be the river, or it could be the ocean. As I walk into that water, I first feel the coldness on my feet and the tingling. as it goes up my feet and then up my ankles and to my calves, and I feel it, and it's a painful feeling. If ever you've felt that cold water, you feel that tingling. It's a painful feeling, and then it goes up my thighs, and I feel that water, and I'm just going, oh, and I'm just start to pray, oh, oh, take me, give me that strength, giving me that strength. And then it gets to that point where it gets to my waist, I get above that my waist, and I start taking the cedar branches and dipping in the water and start brushing myself off, looking for that strength, looking for that energy, looking for that spirit. And then suddenly I just submerge myself deep into the water. And there's been times where I've submerged myself into that water, and it feels like I'm carried away down, deeper into the water. And if I'm in that river, I get carried down through the river, down all the way to the ocean. And there have been times where I'm feeling this, that water, and I'm just connected to everything around me. And then as if I'm like I turn myself back into that mist, and I go back into the air, into the sky, and into the clouds as I travel up over the mountains, and I get dropped as raindrops down on that mountain into the snow, and I get carried back down the water, and I feel myself suddenly become one with everything, one with everything. And then I just burst out. Take a deep breath. And when I open my eyes, everything is brighter. Everything is fresher. Everything. And I know I am alive. Raven was walking along the beach, and he's been gone a long time. He's been gone on a long journey, and he has had many adventures. He freed the stars into the nighttime sky forever. He brought the water to the people. There was a time he lost his beak, and he had to get it back. Raven is tired now, and he flies back up the valley, over the mountains, through another valley, and over another mountain. And he's going back to his lodge, resting on top of the mountain. He finally makes it home to his lodge. Home at last. Home at last. I just want to sleep. I'm so tired, he says. And so he goes to his bed, and he lays down to rest, and the voices in his mind start to settle. And then Raven, just as he's about to go to sleep, he hears commotion coming, carrying the sound up the valley, all the way to his lodge. He can't sleep. Where is this sound coming from? What is this? It's nonsense. It makes no sense at all. And the wind is carrying it up the valley, up through the valley to his lodge. And Raven gets up and he looks down the valley, wondering, where is this noise coming from? I can't sleep, he says. Ah. And so he hops off the ledge and starts flying down the valley, curving along, down where it makes a river, following the river all the way down to the valley where it goes to the beach. And at this beach there's a village. And in this village, all the people are talking. They're talking, not making any sense at all. Just jabbering back and forth. Adults talking to children, children talking to adults. Oh, the grown-ups, old, young, everyone's just talking. Nobody's making sense of their words. They're just throwing words out there, and there's a jumble of words all over the place. Oh, and everything is just so crowded and confused. And Raven's going, oh my goodness, I'm getting a headache. All this noise, you guys make no sense. And finally, at nighttime, everything is quiet and the village is asleep. But left, laying about, all the words that these people were talking. They're laying on the ground, laying up in the trees. Some are floating in the water. Some are even floating through the air. They had no respect for any of these words. They just tossed them about. So Raven, he grabbed a bag, a large bag, and he started to gather up all these words. He put all these words from the trees, floating in the air, scattered on the ground, into this bag. And he closed it, and he flew back to his lodge to the top of the mountain. Well, in the morning time, the people awoke. And when they came out, first thing they wanted to do was to start to talk. And so when they opened their mouth, nothing came out. No words. Nothing. Another one came out. They opened their mouth. No words. Nothing. All the people came out of their lodges, all staring at each other, opening their mouths. But as they made the motion with their mouths, with their lips, no words came out. All the words were gone. And they just sat there and stared at each other. And things got quiet and started to settle. And so they started to notice each other more. They started to cook their foods and noticed and paid attention to what they were cooking. They started to caress each other's hands, shoulders. When they went down to the water, they could suddenly hear the sounds of the water. When they went to the trees, they could hear the whispers of the breeze going through the trees. And when they went to the plants, they could hear the little whispers of the plants speaking to them, talking to them. And the people started to understand things in a new way, in a deeper way, from a place that was deep within themselves. They started to understand more of what was around them. And they started to become comfortable with this. And it was one day, an old one, an elder came out. And as he came out, he didn't try to say any words, but he made a sound. He made a sound. And he started to sing. And all the people joined in with him with his songs, and they all started to sing, and they started to sing. And the songs, no words, but just the feeling they got from deep down inside started to carry up through the valley. And as the song and the music started going up to the valley, Raven in his lodge heard the sound, heard the music. Where is that coming from? How could this be? Let me see. So Raven took his bag of words and he flew back down the valley to the people, back to where that village was, where all the people were. And they were all singing together. It was as if the trees were swaying back and forth, dancing with them, and the water itself, everything was connected to each other. Everyone was paying attention to each other and everything around. Said Raven. Yes, this is good. This is good. And so Raven reached in his bag and he grabbed one word out and he gave it to the people. He says, here you go. The word I give you is thank you. Is thank you. Thank you. And so the people took this word and they passed it amongst each other. And then Raven gave them another word: love, family, honor. He slowly started to give the words back to the people. And as the people took each of the words, they took it in reverence. In reverence. And to this day, the old ones still remember this. They pay attention to the words. They pay attention to how they use them and how they speak them. They say that words can hang like the fog, and you must be careful about how you use your words. Because as they hang or they're scattered on the ground or whatever, you never know who might walk through that fog of words. It might be a child, or it might be an old one. You never know. And so to use your words wisely and to think about how you use your words. Oh, ʔičǝxʷ, ʔičǝxʷ, ʔičǝxʷ. Hey yo, 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 Oh, stories. Oh, water. 70% of our body is composed of water. 70% of the earth is composed of water. Water. Drink it. It's good for you. That was my commercial. My wife always says, how many of you drink your water like this? I don't know. She always asks me, why do you always stick out your pinky like that? Put that pinky back in. Holy, you go out to the reservation, they're gonna beat you up. You won't drink your water with your pinky out like that. Holy, I don't know. She has a story behind it, but I'm not gonna say it. And so I'm part Cherokee. Actually, it's like almost, I'm half Cherokee. Slagi. You know, I wonder how many more cousins, I wonder how many more relatives, aunties and uncles I would have had. If it wasn't for that trail, that tears that they walked on. I wonder what life would have been like with many of these things, you know. And I was just going to tell a different story, but then all of a sudden this other story just right now popped into my head, popped into my spirit, and says, tell me. And this story goes like this, and it's a news story that has come to me. And there's one day that I was just working really, really hard. I was working really hard. I was exhausted. I was working out in the woods. There was a time when I was a tree planter, and I was out there planting trees, or I was cutting wood. Or sometimes when you're out there fishing, you just get tired and you get exhausted. It's that good, hard work. It was after a day like that, where it was this good, hard work. And I sat back in my chair. Just to put my feet up just for a moment. And I closed my eyes and I fell asleep. And in my sleep, I had a dream. And in this dream, suddenly, in my front driveway, I heard a motorcycle pull up. I could tell with the sound that it was a Harley. And I go out there to see who it was. And I looked, and it was Raven in his leather snow helmet, his shades on, saying, come on, let's go. I have a bike here for you. And I looked at it as a little Sportster, just like the one he was riding. He says, I like these little Sportsters. Where we go, we're going to need the small, powerful, be able to control them. Come on, let's go. And so I started riding this Harley down the road with Raven. My hair was going back in the wind. And then suddenly, alongside of us pulls up was Coyote. He too was on a Harley. And so myself, Raven, and Coyote were riding down this road on our bikes. And I'm following them. I'm wondering, where are we going? And then suddenly we pull off onto this dirt road to the side there, and the road was smooth. There were no potholes, and it was as if the trees made a tunnel themselves with their arms over this road. As we ride down this dirt road, suddenly we stop, and coming down the road, this big thunderous sound. And I looked, and on top and on a tour glide was Bigfoot. It was Bigfoot, and we all just looked at each other and gave ourselves that Indian nod. And we all followed Bigfoot as we ride through that forest, those trees. And I remember this in my dream, which is the trees would go past us. And then we turned off to the side, and then we stopped, and we're on this here city street, and suddenly we see these two buildings crumble down to the ground, and we're there to witness it as the Twin Towers come tumbling down. And as we're sitting there on our Harleys, suddenly the dust comes and engulfs us. And then we turn around and we take back off down that road where the trees are going past us some more. Then we go off to this other side, this road, and we're looking out, and we're watching and witnessing the assassination of Martin Luther King. And we just look at each other and we just shake our heads. And I could tell that that Raven had a tear coming out of his eye because they were brothers, Martin Luther King and Raven. They were both brothers. And so we turn around, head back, and as we're traveling through time on these Harley Davidsons, following Bigfoot as he's following and leading us way. And next thing we take another turn off this here other trail, and there we are out there on the plains, and we're watching out there, we're watching and witnessing Little Bighorn, Custer's last stand, as all the Indians are circling around Custer, and they're all yelling, and they're all making the sounds, and it's going down, and we're just like sitting there watching this your whole event take place, and Bigfoot's like shaking his head up and down, and Coyote's like going, oh yeah, that looks good, and Coyote lets out a howl, oh, 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 oh. And Raven starts to call, and Bigfoot starts to rev his motorcycle even more, and it gets louder and louder and louder. And then we turn around, we take off back down, the trees are passing by us even some more. And I would like, is in this here tunnel of time going back and forth. And then we end up and we find this here place, and it's a camp, and it's dark. And we find ourselves at this here location called Auschwitz, and all the people are in there, and they're being sent into the stoves, into the ovens, and Bigfoot wants to get up, and he gets up off his motorcycle and runs into that camp, breaks through the fence, and he starts to grab people, taking them away, grab people more, taking them away. But it doesn't matter how big he is or how strong he is, he didn't have enough strength to save all the people. And we had to grab Bigfoot, take him back to his motorcycle, put him back on there, and we turned and we started to drive away, ride our bikes away, further and further away. And then we find ourselves on the mountains, looking down, watching the Civil War take place. And we're sitting there with all the other Indians, and they're on horses, and we're watching all this here fighting and battling and death taking place down on the land, on their ancestral lands, as these here people are fighting for the right to own another human being. And then we ride further. We see the Trail of Tears. We see the Trail of Tears as the people are walking by. And I see somebody that looks like me. They look like me as they're walking that trail. And they turn and they see me. And they see me, and I see a tear coming down their eyes and their face. And I know that's one of my relatives. I know. And I start to weep. I start to weep with them, with them, with them. And then we turn around, we go back to the place long ago where the people could swim in the rivers without any care if they had any clothing on or not. They were connected to everything around them. They loved each other. They loved the land. They ate. And they had such a spiritual connection with the land. They could see into the future. And it was beautiful. And it was beautiful. And it was beautiful. So we jump back onto those motorcycles and we ride and we ride. The trees are going past it. And we ride. It seems like for hours. It seems like for days that we keep riding. And I keep asking, where are we going? I'm tired. And I feel like I'm going to fall off this motorcycle as we're going and creating through time, through this here trail and this forest. I'm following Bigfoot, I'm following Raven, I'm following Coyote, as we're all just determined to get to our destination. And Bigfoot is guiding us through. And finally we get to this place and we turn and there's an opening. And again, we go to a place where everything is green. But it's a little different. The buildings where there used to be a city, trees have taken it over. Where there used to be highways, nature has overgrown them. And the people are working back with the land again. People are connected back with the land. The air is sweet. The water is pure. And as we're sitting there on our motorcycles, they are so connected spiritually as well that they look up and they can see us. We're not invisible to them. They see us and they wave to us. And Bigfoot stands up off his bike and waves back. Raven and Coyote start to sing and they start to dance. And I realize where I'm at now is I'm in the future. In the future where the people and the earth are connected again. And everything is healing. Everything is well. And we're sitting there, witness to this occurrence. And it was just then where suddenly I just like popped out of this dream that I was having. And I sat up and I rubbed my eyes and I started to, and tears started to come down my eyes. And it was such a beautiful place, this dream that I just witnessed, I was this part of, and I just go, oh, thank you, you know, to witness. And then I just realized, oh, I'm here in my house. It was all just a dream. It was all just a dream. It was all just a dream. And then I heard a motorcycle pull up into my driveway. You see, we're all storytellers. And I have a belief that our stories, there's a vibration out there, and it's like it's swirling around us. And if we take our time and just to connect to that vibration, that spirit, those stories will come. If we just take time just to believe that they're there. I had a friend of mine, she posted on a Facebook that during this time she's lost, it seems like she's lost faith. She's lost faith. But the thing is, ancestors have not lost faith in you. They still have faith in you. And this is the time that we need to this is the time, amongst our Tlingit people up north during the wintertime, or many of the tribes, many of the people during the wintertime, that's a time to look within. That's the time to look within. Where we tell the stories, we sing the songs, we do the artwork, and we pay attention to our dreams. And I like what Sara had to say, just write. Yeah. Imagine. Use your imagination. Like when you were a kid. I remember growing up, our imagination, I was just talking with some buddies of mine growing up. One of my fears when I was growing up was quicksand. I know. quicksand. When I was a kid, every program that you watched, somebody died or got stuck in quicksand. Even the horses, everything got stuck in quicksand. So when I got grown up, I thought that there's got to be quicksand every place. And so, yeah. And so, tell these stories, and tell the stories of not only these traditional stories that come to you, or whatever they are, or maybe dreams, but tell stories about your life. You see, our life is a story, but our life story is made up of moments. And what are those moments? What are those moments that make up the whole story? What are your moments? And there could be like 100 people in here, and there's 100 stories, different stories. I don't often do this, but I'm going to read a story to you. And as I was listening to Sara sharing her pieces, her poetry, her stories, this came to me to tell this one. And I'm going to share this story, and this story is it was written by myself and my wife. And so this is from her perspective, through her eyes, my wife's eyes. And this is about her sister. Nikki. She dances amongst the clouds with the circus mind that's running wild. Hummingbirds, blossoms, moonbeams, and the tales of fairies. That's all she thinks about, dreams about. You are a story. You are a storyteller. Our life is a story. Our story was being told long before we were born into this world. Our ancestors were telling our story. Our story is of the sky, the trees, the mountains, the oceans, all things alive. Our ancestors were telling the stories about those who were born amongst the stars, sailing across the Milky Way, surfing on the waves of the auroras, and painting the galaxy with color with stars. Nikki was one of those star children. Born on the day of Thanksgiving, 1956, the doctors and nurses knew she was special. When the afterbirth came, it was painted with hummingbirds, sunflowers, and music. She brought with her art, her passion, and she was dancing. From the start, she was dancing, dancing, dancing. Nikki Jean. Nikki is not short for anything else. Her name was Nikki, Nikki. Nikki. Who was Nikki? Nikki was art. She was a child. Nikki was never without her art. She drew, she painted, and she created herself. She saw beauty in the most unusual places. She gathered broken sticks, rocks, tired feathers, and worn leaves. Nikki hoarded beauty. She collected the tiny bones of small animals, and they spoke to her, told her their story, sang to her, and posed for her. They danced brilliantly throughout her paintings. She heard music, and when she did, she danced. Everywhere she would go, she would dance. As a child, she would fly off the school bus and dance her way home. She would stand in an open field and dance. She would stand under the nighttime sky and dance with the stars. She imagined herself dancing on top of the mountains, dancing with the deer in the grassy fields, dancing with the currents of the rivers. She danced with the dragonflies, the crickets, the stars, her witness. Nikki danced everywhere, 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 everywhere. Nikki grew. Nikki was beautiful. Name, Nakota, Italian, black hair, dark eyes, an old soul. She loved everything old, seeing beauty in age, especially clothing. She would buy lingerie, not to wear, but to hang in the room, displayed on the dresser, or simply to look upon. Hard to imagine such beauty. Her free spirit got her into trouble at times, like watching the news with her dad, and seeing Nikki's nakedness streaking across the screen. Everybody was attracted to Nikki. We all were. She loved music. She loved music that danced with her, that stole her soul. She and I had dinner with John Lee Hooker. Nikki laughed as I wrote of the tales from childhood. There are rumors of relationships with Great Almond, Stevie Ray Vaughan. I didn't know that. She and I sat on the very stage as Stevie played Pride and Joy. You see, when you see everything, the beauty, the colors, the details, you see everything, the anger, everything, the rage, everything, the darkness, everything, the pain, everything, everything. I was there, I saw. I may have even watched, but there was little I could do. I can't remember the specific time Nikki lost her art or when art lost her, when her passion ceased to be. I only remember when I began to see her broken, a broken hand, a broken foot, broken teeth, broken. When did her spirit break? I don't know. Alcohol was there, always waiting for her, comforting her. Only no one knew. There were no suspicions even. She was that silent, that good. When she left treatment, she cried out, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Alcohol was always waiting for her. I saw her often traveling to Seattle. Sometimes I searched for her on the streets. Sometimes I drove up every day. I brought her food, blankets, clothing, whatever I could spare. Often I would return and find she had given most of what I had given her away. They needed it more. I would drive up on holidays and find her apartment filled with homeless people fasting, feasting upon whatever food she could cook from them. I would push them from the door, make them leave, and I would have to shop for her again. She had nothing left for herself. Despite my attempts, I could not help her find her art again. Occasionally, there were sparks of Nikki remaining, and we would cry together. She clinging to me, the baby sister. We never found those pointed elf shoes. Once I yelled to her, I really yelled to her, "What the hell is wrong with you? With everything that you have been through, how the hell can you let them win?" And she cried softly and quietly and said, "Baby, I'm just not strong enough anymore. I just need you to keep fighting." When I left, I sat on the steps of her tiny apartment and I cried. I cried. I cried. Nikki was somebody. Our last times together, I found her with nothing. Finally, she wanted help, but it was not soon enough. She was fierce, gentle, kind, and sometimes angry, incredibly sad, and always grateful. She was a survivor, a fighter, a caregiver, a searcher, at times a victim. Nikki deserves to be remembered. She was somebody. Nikki was important. She made an impact upon the world, however small. She changed people's lives. I want to hear her name spoken amongst our people. I cannot bear the thought of her ever being forgotten. It has been 12 years now. And I sent Isabella, my girl, to find her. "Find Nikki," I said. "Find her, comfort her." Nikki walked into the forest. Maybe her grandmother, her mother, her ancestors were there with her, whispering, singing, "Honey, my child star, it's time to come. It's time to come. It's time to come with us." I miss Nikki's voice. Although I catch glimpses of her often, she still makes me cry. She still makes me laugh. I still imagine her dancing through the Louvre in Paris, where I dropped her ashes, my final gift to her. "Nikki," I cry, "you're safe. You're safe. You are finally safe." Sacred breath. Sacred stories. You are sorry. You are sacred. I just want to say thank you for this moment. Thank you for this time, this opportunity to share with you a little bit of my breath. ʔičǝxʷ, ʔičǝxʷ, ʔiññiaxusani ʔičǝxʷ. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Be a blessing. Stay safe. Thank you.
Masi, Jean, that was beautiful and just the perfect thing which we need, you know, some good stories and some good meanings. And just thank you for being here.
And I'd like to thank Sara for kicking this off. I mean, I was like going, oh my goodness.
And
Rich.
everyone, keep drinking that water. So we're gonna transition into the question and answer, moderated by Dana. People have any questions, just please put them into the chat.
No questions, or you guys already know it all? That's what I tell the kids.
How are you so awesome, Dean?
What's that?
How are you so awesome? How do you get to be this awesome and this much of a rock star?
I tell you what, I have powerful women in my life.
Good answer, good answer.
My mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and my wife included. They keep me in line. So Sara, some of your writings, where do you find your inspiration? Just where do you find that? Just I know it's like as storytellers and writers and poets, we walk through the world not like this, but we walk through the world like this.
Absolutely, everywhere in everything. I realized really, really early on that there were so many stories to tell, and that everything had a story, not just the people, but the land, the water. And I was taught that didn't just come from nowhere. That came from my elders, some good teachers. But yeah, I mean, it was hard. I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico. These beautiful people know about Albuquerque. Maybe some of you are zooming in from Albuquerque. It's hard stuff. It was not an easy place to grow up as a Native woman, starting out as a Native baby and a Native child. And I thought that I was doomed. I didn't think that I was going to make it to 18. And so a lot of inspiration came just from the streets and from my own sort of survival ways that sort of kept me going. You know, I would sing little songs to myself, make up stories. My first book that I ever wrote was when I was like 7, and stole the gingerbread man story, and I called it Runaway Bacon, because I like bacon more than gingerbread. But yeah, inspiration from all things. I love movies. I love music. Love music and movies. I'm just voracious for taking in content. How about you?
Oh, you know what? Shoot, I just grew up in the outdoors and around, again, my family and such. But it was so how I know, and fortunately, growing up in Juneau, Alaska, we had storytellers who came to our schools. We had in kindergarten, I remember storytellers coming in, native storytellers, not just it, but native storytellers coming in, telling and talking about Raven, talking about the forest, talking about the land. We even started in 4th grade, believe it or not, we started carving. No, it's 5th grade. We started carving. They actually gave us knives, little X-Acto knives in 5th grade, and we started carving on wood. And my mom still has that, my first carving. They would never do that nowadays, you know, and I'm grateful for that. But as I grew up, I listened to those stories, and I remember sitting around my grandma's table where all the aunties and uncles were there. And they were always they're always telling stories. Of course, they were playing cards, rummy or whatever it is, smoking their cigarettes, drinking their beers, you know, but they're laughing eating food, but telling these stories. I remember sitting there as a little child, listening to them tell these stories about family, about experiences, and I just took that in. I took it in, and it must have stuck somehow. But and then when I was in my early 20s, one of my teachers taught me how to dance, Tlingit dance, but he died in an accident, getting food for his teacher, for his family. And the group that he's part of, he was part of a native theater company called Nakahiri Theater. And he, but the group asked me to replace him, which is a huge honor. And I was, at that time, I was working out at a wilderness experiential ed treatment center with Native kids. And I loved that job, but out of respect and for him, I joined the group. And that's when we told stories. And we got grants where we sat with elders in villages. And our job was to sit with them and listen to stories, listen to them. I mean, what a gift, what a gift. And so that's kind of where I got started really into it, you know, but I kind of grew up with it, but I didn't realize it until I was maybe in my 20s or so. And then I was like scared to share, to even speak in front of people, to you know, even express. But I learned.
Yeah, I tell students that are just learning, whether to be orators, storytellers, get on the mic and do the poet thing, whatever it is, MCs, that if you don't feel a little bit of that, little butterflies, a little bit of nervousness, just a little bit, not like crazy nervous, but that why is it worth it? You know that it matters because it's it's sacred stuff, and that's a normal thing.
Well, exactly. With even this program, I mean, I was nervous. I mean, I've been thinking all week about it, to be honest with you. I was like, what am I going to tell? What am I going to, this? I told my wife, what do you think I should tell? And, you know, and then I'm going to go downstairs later on, and she's going to say, that's not what you said you were going to tell, you know, but one thing I do tell people too is like, I want you to make mistakes. When we first do this, you know, it's okay. You know what? It's okay if you really suck, because you'll get better. You can't be like the best when you start off at this. You just can't. You can't. You got to make your mistakes, but it's okay. It's okay to suck, because you'll get better. There's times I've just like miserably failed. I've miserably failed. I left, and I'm driving home, and my wife's like going,
one question.
Yeah, but hang on a second. My wife's like going, man, you sure did suck on that one. I said, I know. But you learn from it. You learn from it, eh?
Always.
What's that question?
Our one question is, what kinds of stories do you think we should seek out right now to help us get through this time?
That's a good one. I will say that those that make you laugh, those that are survival stories, but survival funny stories. The fact that our Kostradis at Acoma, at Ako, our sacred clowns, that they're always telling us, you know, showing and telling us how to live, how to do better as human people by making us laugh, by making us think. And so I would say, yeah, those kind of stories. I love so many different kind of stories, but and I could give you a suggestion list a mile long of what to watch on Netflix and Hulu and all the things. But yeah, so many amazing works of art out there. So I would say in this time, it's a gift to be able to take in all the things voraciously. I am staying away from horror stuff and sad stuff for the most part, and watching sappy movies and The Simpsons and just anything that'll keep me laughing.
Exactly. I mean, find those stories. I mean, you got to, in the state of what's going on right now. But at this, my teacher from Larry Littlebird. I don't know, Sarah, if you've heard of Larry Littlebird.
Yeah, Cena's dad. Yeah, our dads knew each other from way back.
Oh, really? Yeah, as a
Yeah.
teacher of mine, and I got to hang out with him and learn from him and down there. But Larry, I love that guy. When I grow up, I want to be a storyteller like him. But Larry always said that, first of all, we are story listeners. Before we tell it, we listen. We're story listeners. And again, to go out there and to search those stories like this, and the story will come to you. The story will come to you, but we need to be looking for those stories. Because there's some stories for myself personally, I'm not meant to tell. I'm not meant to tell. Because I'm not ready to tell it yet. Personally, in my growth, where I'm at spiritually, I'm not ready to tell that story yet. 5 years down the road, I might be. So in this time where you're at right now, trust that part that's inside of you and listen. And the story will come. The stories will come. They'll find you. Where are you at in who you are? So,
There was a special request for Jean's dog. I love it.
okay, I got my dogs. Okay, guys. Yeah. So I got my dogs here. Wait. You guys, all of you, come here, right here. All right. Sit. Right here. Sit.
Perfect way to end.
Sit.
The weirdest, best reading ever.
Sit right here. She hasn't got any food for you. There's one. There's Annabella. Oh, all right. Food will always get them. Okay, guys, right here. Check it out. Right here. Can you guys see that? Here's my dogs.
So sweet.
You can't have it though. That's mine. Or you feed it to them. Anyways, so there's my dogs. Annabella, Beauregard, Bo, and Maggie in the back there.
Yeah, Maggie.
And there's the cat, Wheels. Cat thinks it's a dog.
Our cat thinks that it's a dog too. Mr. Pickles, he has dog tendencies all day.
Mr. Pickles.
He's a G. He's a total G. I love Mr. Pickles. I'd bring him in, but we made him stay. We were like, hey, no, there's a thing going on. You have to stay outside. Well, I know we're almost at our time. I just wanted to say thank you again to everybody at UW and everybody who tuned in. And if you want to, as I said, learn more about our Highline Native Education Program or learn how you can support us, please find us on Facebook or go to highlineschools.org. And I am available all the time to be a mentor, to share resources, literary, educational, cultural, communal, all. And so please don't hesitate to reach out at any time. You can find my contact information on our highlineschools.org website. And thank you, Jean. You're so awesome.
Awesome. And thank you so much, and thank you for this opportunity just to share that spirit with the people, especially at this time. It's all about healing. It's about wellness. It's about sharing that spirit. That's what I love about Indian people, man, about Native people. I love our people, and I'm proud of our people during this time. Really proud of our people. So, go ahead, teach.
Masi, thank you guys so much. That was awesome. And thank you both for the energy you bring across, virtual worlds. Lastly, we just like, to thank everyone and our sponsors, and just let you guys know that we will be doing another Sacred Breath next November. So stay tuned for that, hopefully in person. But just again, thank you guys so much. My hands go up to you guys, and everything you do.
Thank you, Owen.
ʔičǝxʷ.
Bye,
Until next time.
everybody.
Until next time.
Next time. Live and in the flesh. Hopefully.
I'll end the meeting for all. Okay.
I will, since I've got the recording going.